Italy by Josh and Brooke. The Italian timeline. I know that this is a lot of information, so I am just going to read out the most important facts. The birth rate for the Italians in 2010 was 8,000 people. Their death rate was 10,800. Their fertility rate was 1,320. The natural increase was negative 0.08%. The life expectancy was 80 years. The literacy rate was 99%. The earning power was 2,126.25 bill. The unemployment rate was 9% of people. The poverty rate was 50,724 people. And the infant mortality rate was 139 out of 1,000 infants per year. Rome. History and founding. After King Numitor was overthrown by his younger brother Amulius, the new ruler then executed King Numitor's sons and forced his daughter to become a Vestal virgin. Vestal virgins were priestesses of the goddess Vesta and were expected to remain virgins or protect their virginity. Although being a Vestal virgin, the god of fire, Mars, had done as he pleased, eventuating in Rhea Silva bearing twins Romulus and Remus. King Amulius, being infuriated with this outcome, drowned Rhea Silva in the river Timber, where she married the god of water. Twins Romulus and Remus were then sent down the river in a reed basket. After they were caught upon a fig tree, the twins were found by a she-wolf, loyal to the god of fire. The she-wolf had suckled the twins until they had been found by a shepherd. The shepherd's wife had been a former prostitute. The twins had grown up in the care of the shepherd and his wife. Once told of their true origin, they had slayed Amulius, and Numitor once again took the throne. The two brothers had then had a dispute of where their new city should sit. Romulus saw 12 birds and decided to have the city rest upon Palatine Hill. Remus had been slain by Romulus, and the city of Rome is now sitting upon Palatine Hill. Florence. History and founding. It was founded in 59 BC by Julius Caesar, who named it the settlement Florentia and designed it as a haven for retired military veterans. In fact, the city was designed in the manner of a military camp, a pattern that is still evident in the city center today. Because Florence is situated on a fertile, farmable land and located on a major travel route between northern Italy and Rome, it grew steadily from a small Roman settlement to a bustling commercial center. By the 3rd century AD, it was established as the capital of Tuscany. The population continued to increase and prosper under the rule of Charlemagne in 774. By the 10th century, Florence was on a strong, steady ascent towards prosperity. The city maintained its reputation for innovation throughout the 14th to 16th centuries. There were a dozen artist guilds throughout the century, and Florence exported massive amounts of high-quality wool and other textiles to Italy and Europe. Many of the era's most influential artists flocked to the city to create their masterpieces, including Michelangelo, Botticelli, Ghirlandaio, and Leonardo da Vinci. In 1737, Tuscany became a territory of Austria and was later ruled by France and the Kingdom of Sardinia-Piedmont. After unification in 1861, Tuscany became a province of the Kingdom of Italy. Florence enjoyed a short period as the capital of Italy, replacing Turin in 1865 and hosting the country's first parliament, but was superseded by Rome in 1871. Following its addition to the kingdom, today Florence continues to thrive as banking power, as well as a city of great historical and artistic significance. Finance and tourism fuel the city's economic growth, and despite a flood that damaged thousands of important pieces in 1944, Florence boasts an unparalleled quantity of Italian Renaissance art that attracts millions of tourists each year. Venice. History and founding. According to Italian tradition, Venice was founded on March 25, 421 AD at noon. Celtic people who had been Roman citizens since 49 BC, now known as the Veneti, lived along the Italian mainland. The Veneti had left the mainland due to Attila the Hun's attack. The Venetians had fled to the lagoon and built a village there. The lagoon's population starting to increase in 568 as more Venetians left the mainland due to another attack by the Franks. The eastern half of Italy had originally owned Venice but the Venetians had gained independence and chosen Orso e Pato as their duca in 726. Over time, the Venetians had engaged in quite a few wars, although the Venetians and the Genoese had engaged in 5 wars against one another in the 13th and 14th centuries due to great rivalry. Withal, the Black Death had greatly affected Venice, leaving the country with great loss. In 1966, Venice had undergone a great flood, but soon recovered. Now we know Venice as a huge tourism spot, with a population of about 260,000 people. History of Italy Nation, Part 1. In the first few decades of the 19th century, an uprising grew for a united nation of Italy. The Risorgimento, literally translated to the Resurgence, had supported the revolutions that were led by Giuseppe Mazzini, who was trying to create the Italian nation. Young Italy was created later in the 1830s. The strongest of the small Italian states was Sardinia. The king of Sardinia was Charles Albert. The major fighting was over the provinces Lombardy and Veneto. Unfortunately for Sardinia, the Pope decided that he did not want to fight against another Catholic country, and he withdrew his troops. The nationalists were enraged with the Pope and ended up storming the city, causing the Pope to flee. The Prime Minister of Sardinia was Count Cavour. In 1849, Victor Emmanuel II became the King of Sardinia. He understood that the Austrian influence over Italy had to be dealt with before Italy could become a nation. Cavour made the alliances with France and Britain in the 1850s. She joined with them in the Crimean War against Russia. He also agreed to give France a small amount of territory. History of Italy Nation, Part 2. Cavour provoked Austria, and Austria declared war in 1859. With the help of the French, the Austrians have been overrun. Garibaldi, with his red shirts, freed Sicily and southern Italy from its Bourbon king, who controlled Sicily. Garibaldi wanted to march Rome, but Cavour persuaded him to stop. It was feared that the French troops might come and protect the Pope. In 1860, some of the provinces from the Papal States agreed to join Sardinia. Also, in 1860, Sicily and Naples agreed to join Sardinia. This represented most of Italy, and Victor Emmanuel II was made the new king of Italy, with Florence as its capital. The Papal States and Venetia became a part of Italy later. In 1866, Italy allied itself with Prussia, and when Prussia defeated Austria, Italy was rewarded with Veneta staying out of the war. In 1870, the French withdrew their troops from Rome, and the Italians moved in and seized the Pope's territory. Victor Emmanuel then moved the capital to Rome. Economic development. Amenities. The old buildings and history which attracts tourists and produces incomes toward the country. The food in Italy is also a huge amenity because lots of people go to Italy for food. Tourism is one of the most helpful things in Italy because the tourism costs provide nearly 63% of their national income. So basically, overall, Italy is one huge tourist attraction, which brings in income for the country and provides them with everything they need. Education. In Italy, education is free for 8 years, from ages 6 to 15, going through 5 years of elementary school and 3 years of lower secondary school. Before starting elementary school, you have the choice of attending a preschool program or primary. After your 3 years of secondary school, you have the choice of attending a technical school, vocational school, or several academic high schools. The favorable and unfavorable characteristics. Favorable. The food in Italy is amazing, so that is very favorable. The ability to express talents in vastly populated areas is favorable because that way you get to express who you are to many different people. The beautiful lands in Italy are very favorable because they're just a nice spot to look at. Unfavorable. Public transportation. Because Italy is vastly populated, it is hard to get on the public transport. Parking is another hard thing to do. Due to the limitless drivers and limited parking spaces, it is hard. There are also many other things, like trying to book a spot at a restaurant or trying to get into a hotel. These are all common things that people have trouble doing in Italy due to its vast populations. Italian tourist attractions. The first tourist attraction is the Colosseum. The height of the Colosseum is 48 meters, and the area it takes up is 2 ha, or 2 hectare. It was built in 70 AD, and it is located in Rome. The materials the Colosseum was made out of are concrete, limestone, and other mixtures of rock. The second tourist attraction is the Florence Cathedral. The inside is 89 by 340 square feet. The length is 153 meters, the width is 38 meters, and the width at the crossing is 90 meters. The height of the arches and the aisles are 23 meters. The height of the dome is 114.5 meters. The cathedral was built in 1294. It is made out of bricks, dirt, and other sorts of rock. The third tourist attraction is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Pisa. The tower's height is 56.67 meters on the highest side and 55,860 meters on the low side. The outside diameter of the Leaning Tower of Pisa's base is 15.484 meters. Width of the walls at the base are 2.4384 meters. It was built in 1360 AD, and it is made out of mostly marble and other sorts of rock. The picture now is just the simple, everyday map of Italy. You have the Kingdom of Naples, the Papal States, and etc. Now we thought we'd end this presentation off by showing a couple of Italy's most known landscapes.